Hello. We are back again. All right. So we are going to be focusing on this little guy today. And the first thing I need to do is animate his arms. Actually, I need to probably do the body here. Okay, so if we remember, we were working on the kind of rough animation. What's up, Jordan? Good to see you. I'm doing all right. Every day you get to animate is a good day, in my opinion. Hope everyone's doing well themselves. I'm actually gonna kind of stretch forward. I actually might do this. Kind of work backwards a little bit. Not quite there. A little further this way. Like that. How's my weekend? Weekend was pretty good. Kind of tired. I was hanging out with a lot of people this weekend. But overall, not bad. Hey, what's up, My Melody? Hope you're doing well. That should do. Okay. So now I need to figure out what he's doing with his arms. I like the idea of him like just opening the box up with his head. It's just Jack in the Box. Punch it. No, it's a Grem in the box, and you shouldn't punch a Grem in the box. Hmm. Hello, King Bob. It's good to see you again. Now you must go. Will do, King Bob. You have yourself a good time wherever you're going. Man, he is so much simpler. It's kind of crazy. I mean, this is just the rough, but like, you'll see when I start having to do like the sleeves and stuff like that, it's gonna be so much easier. So I want to try to get around to doing the tie down on his head at least. I'm gonna try a little bit of a different method where I do like one part of him at a time, starting with his head. Because he's a little bit more segmented, which is nice. So I should be able to get away with that. Does Grem like to, does Grem like to scare his friends? I mean, probably on occasion. I think he just more so like accidentally does it. Because he kind of forgets that other people can't see in the dark like him. also wonder if I should have put the arms on their own layer. That way I could have... I might do that down the line. We'll see. Gosh, I wish I could just copy and paste layers. That would be nice. What's this part going to be? It is going to be this little guy, Grem, popping out of a box. And then throwing packing peanuts up into the air. So right now we're just doing kind of the rough animation, and then we're going to start on tie down. It shouldn't take too long because roughing this motion out is pretty dang straightforward. Actually, I probably should do full frames. Come to think of it. Oops. I'm actually going to here, right about here, make a blank frame for wicker. And for the wing as well, just to be safe. Okay. It's not quite in the right spot. Bring the arm forward more. There. Oh yeah, no, that one's a lot of fun. For people who don't know, that's I have a little short clip on my YouTube channel of it's kind of a breakdown of a clip I did a long time ago of a story idea, a little scene from a story idea, where a girl's trying. Basically, the context behind that is she's trying to get into the woods, and to start, she disguises herself as a monster to try to sneak by. But when that doesn't work, she just tries to kind of straight up brute force her way into being allowed into the woods. And it doesn't really work. Yeah, it's crazy. It's kind of funny. I did that piece quite a while ago now. Jeez. I think I did that in 2018, something like that. Crazy to think how long ago 2018 was now. What was that, like 7 years ago now? I think? Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I streamed that all on Twitch, I remember. That was a really fun project. That was back when I was doing like at 8-hour-long streams or so, 6 to 8 hour long streams. That was a lot of fun. I kind of miss doing that, but I don't have the time for that now. Today we'll get close though. We'll probably do a pretty long stream today, so. Yeah, I do want to get back to that story idea and do more with it at some point, but kind of on the back burner right now. That one's a little bit more ambitious than, say, this idea. This only has, like, about 5 main characters in this story. That one, with the one with the girl dressed up as a monster, has like a couple dozen. It's a bit of an expansive story, so I'm still not sure how I'm gonna tell that story, whether I want to do it in like comic form or an animation. If I do it in animation, I'm gonna have to be a lot less ambitious with it, if I'm ever gonna get it done. If I do it in comic, I can do a lot more, but I have really learned that comics are fun, but they're not what I'm really strong at. I've gotten better at making comics over the years, in doing my current ongoing series, The Blind King. But it definitely kind of takes away my focus from what I really love, which is animating. So it's a little tough to justify doing a big long comic because I want to animate more. So it's a little bit of a pickle to be in, because on one hand, a comic is much more realistic to do on your own, but it's still such a tremendous amount of work that you're gonna have to really put all your focus into it, especially alone. That's the really tough part. That's kind of what I'm trying to figure out with this project is, how can I be more efficient with my animating? Obviously, I've put over 50 hours into this so far, so I have a bit of work ahead of me in figuring that out, but I'm pretty confident that I can do things faster than that. Heck, the way that I'm animating Grem here is going to be really kind of telling to how much faster I can do something. Because I'm going to be a lot more relaxed with how I animate him. It's gonna maybe be a bit better. Yes, that's part of one of the reasons I'm skipping the cleanup phase in favor of just sticking to the tie down and doing a digital Xerox effect. That's going to save a lot of time. Gonna be interesting doing those hands. could just focus on one arm real quick. Have I heard of Minecraft? You could say that. In this day and age, who hasn't heard of Minecraft? I got in relatively early into the Minecraft craze back in the day. Got in on the beta with some friends back when I was in school. It was a good time. Still play it every now and again, but not a ton. Actually, I want to like kind of lift up his elbow here. Does he like boxes? Probably. He likes packing peanuts. That's why he's so excited right now. Like a cat. Kinda, yeah. Let me just see how that looks. Actually, I need to... I actually don't care for how long his arms are here. And here. Actually, I want his arms to go more out. Like that. That's better. That's not quite right. Let me give a slight bend. This arm there. Hey, what's up, Time Animation? Good to see you. All right, that should do the. Let me check the arms again. They could be maybe a little. They're a little bit linear, but not really. Kind of want him to snatch the edges of the cardboard a little bit quicker. So how about here instead we have arm really drop down quick. Maybe not that much of a difference. I want to get the movement right before I go on to tie down, because that looks pretty good. All right. Yeah, I think I can work with this. It's gonna be fun doing his ears. All right. And it's gonna be really fun because his ears are actually gonna be up because he's all excited. Usually his ears are kind of down because he's a little bit moody. So I'll just go for him. All right. Okay. Will he say, yay, packing peanuts? He'll be like, this stuff is amazing, and throw it up in the air. I don't have to worry about that. All right. Now his hands are a little funny. He kind of has like sloth hands. That's how I kind of imagine them. Only instead of being like reverse grip or whatever, they're just normal. But he does have like claws, essentially, kind of like a sloth. All right, and then I need to think about. So his fingers are actually more simple than. Wickers. Yeah. Need to be a bit cleaner than that. Nah. Mostly on the side of his face, anyway. All right. All right, that was macro blanks, keygen. Let's see what we got on the chiptune station. Oh, awesome cat. Sweet. Okay, now, I gotta remember how. Hold on. There we go. Oh, you started studying Japanese? Nice. Looking to travel there one day? Or are you just doing it for fun? It's got kind of big hands, but I kind of like it. I might actually sort of keep the big hands, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Where about would you want to travel to Japan? So I know a lot of people are like, oh, you know, see Tokyo and stuff like that. Personally, I really love the countryside. I think they have some really nice looking countryside over there. I'll think about keeping the big hand, but not sure yet. Actually, I also like. The idea of giving him a little bit more shape to his arms. Stereotypical places to go, yeah. The northern area, I think it's Hokkaido, looks pretty cool. All the mountains and stuff like that. Let me think here for a second. Actually, I'm curious. What would, if anybody out there wants to chime in, if you could travel anywhere, where would it be? Curious what kind of places are on people's radar. And one day he'll have his ears, but for now I'm just doing. I think I can. One thing I want to do is rid of both of those. Yeah, the go general light table. Not frame 4. I want like this frame down here. There we go. Maybe sick. Uh-oh. Sorry to hear that, Demon. Hope you get to feeling better soon. Oh, I suppose I should probably change this color because I need to be able to see the other one more easily. Nordic country sort of scenery? That's fair. A really nice country out that way. It's just annoying. I feel you there. I'm doing all right. I'm tired lately, but what else is new? Mostly just me not getting enough exercise, I think. More than anything. Yeah, some weeks are like that. That reminds me, I need to go shopping here soon myself. Probably in the next few days. Honestly, I should probably do it today. Maybe after stream. Yeah, that's something I kind of got to thinking about one day. It's just like kind of crazy that you have, yeah, like biologically you have to like continuously eat. Oh, to be a spider, perched upon a little web, just vibing, eating like once every 2 months. I mean, technically speaking, you don't have to eat every day, but it's not good for you. Good to be consistent with your diet. Although on occasion, you know, taking a day and kind of more just lightly snacking, I find actually isn't a bad thing. If you're not terribly hungry, then not having to eat a lot isn't necessarily a bad thing. Every now and again. I just realized I need to fix this. Unfortunately, I copied and pasted this frame. Yay! I need to fix both of them in the same exact way. But we should be able to do that pretty easily. I used to have ASMR in my stream tags, I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of a joke, but like at the same time, like I kind of do that. It's kind of... I did have someone come into stream one time, and they were like, "Hey, do something ASMR." And I just looked at chat, and I just picked up my keyboard and put it really close to the mic and started clicking keys, and was like, "Yeah, there you go. There's your ASMR." I was like, after that, I was like, okay, maybe, I don't know, maybe I should or shouldn't have ASMR in there. Might give people the wrong impression, I don't know. Clicky clacky is soothing. It's really funny because like when I started streaming back on Twitch, I was really like self-conscious about my keyboard. Like I was like, you know, people, because yeah, I always hear like, oh, people don't like the clicky clacky keyboards and stuff like that. And then like everyone like would come in and be like, oh man, I love the sound of that keyboard. That sounds great, you know. And it's like suddenly it's like, yeah, I think the main reason people are staring around is because of the keyboard. But that was back when I had my my Model M, my old school IBM keyboard. That's the really clicky clacky. The keyboard is the stuff of legend. Heck yeah, it is, Nuke. You know it. Not exactly a loud person. Yeah, I try not to be, especially considering, you know, I have neighbors. Also good to see you here, Nuke. Hope you're doing good. These eyebrows actually need to be a little bigger. What am I doing now? This is the long part of the phase. This is tie down. We are doing tie down. So now we're going through and making all the frames nice and clean. Part of me, let me just do like a couple of the ears real quick. I want his eyes to be this big. Part of me does, part of me doesn't. Let me start shrinking down the eyes a touch. Yeah, that looks more like him. Hold on, let me... Not quite that small, but... Up there. And then... Eh, that works, actually. Yeah. So we'll keep this circular. Old Macintoshes from the 80s. Let's see. Macintosh keyboard. Let's take a look at that. Okay, yeah. Kind of the old school. See, what I had... I don't have a good way of showing it. Well, no, I do. I'm literally streaming. 1 second. So what I have sitting next to me, actually, is... one of these bad boys. This is a Model M keyboard. And this sucker is really nice. I love this keyboard. It is so much fun to use. I did a lot of writing when I was younger on the keyboard like this. Let's do, oops, this spring, and the nice thing is we can actually take this, we can move it over here so we can have a perfect representation of where the head should be. Yeah. This head nice and round is kind of tricky. Could use a ruler, but oh well. Probably should, but this gives a bit more of a hand. Yeah, so the only problem with this old IBM Model M keyboards is that they are strictly PS-2. And PS-2 has basically been completely left behind. Which means that you have to convert it to USB, which you can, easy enough, but it still kind of comes with some issues. So what you can do now is that there are keyboards like that are actually designed from the ground up to be USB, and they're, I think, even the original mold. So very nice little devices. I'd love to get my hands on one of those. Actually, I'm gonna keep his eyes wide because he's all excited. For Windows for PCs and Macs for laptops. I'm getting to the point where I hate both of them. I'm seriously actually thinking about switching over to Linux. Because I'm just sick and tired of Windows. And Apple can go kick rocks as far as their file management system is concerned. But that's me. This is kind of a cool song. Who's this? Ultra Sid. Oh yeah. Your boxy old friend. Actually gonna have him raise this eyebrow a touch. Apparently I have my quick something or other. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I like to be a little bit more experimental, I guess. The problem is with Linux is I can pretty much transfer over like seamlessly, except for two things that are kind of unknowns. There's two big unknowns. One is Clip Studio Paint, which I absolutely have to get running. And the other is the audio interface that I have. I don't know for sure if I can get either of those running on Linux well enough. I think I can do Clip Studio Paint. A lot of effort has gone into Clip Studio Paint, but hardware is a whole other ballgame. The other concern is NVIDIA is a little bit standoffish when it comes to Linux. Much to the chagrin of everyone else. And so it makes it a little bit tough to have proper driver support for Linux cards, for NVIDIA cards. That's the other big thing I need to do, though. I need to tear down my soundboard. Because unlike everything else, that sucker is analog. That's completely on me whether I fix that or not. Did I play sports as a kid? Not really. Played baseball when I was really young, but other than that, not really. I wanted to get into football. American football, that is, but I decided not to. So. You just go bleep bloop and that's all they need to do. Problem is when they bleep and bloop in the wrong way and then they say, yeah, everything's fine. You're like, no, it isn't. That's when it gets annoying. Play softball and archery. Ooh, archery. That's cool. Archery would be one of those things that'd be pretty fun to get into. Do I regret not doing sports? Not really. I was so busy just doing my own thing, you know. When I was in middle school, I got into writing and stuff like that, and so I kept my time pretty occupied just doing my own thing. I suppose it would have been fun and all that, but I also got into band, which, you know, was another thing that I was more committed to, I guess. Even though I never practiced. You used to be cracked in your band class? Yeah, I played flute for 7 years, which I really want to get back into. I have it just sitting out, which I probably shouldn't because it's silver plated, and so it kind of starts to tarnish. I need to clean it up again, which is a pain, but I really need to do it. So otherwise, the flute's in good enough shape, so I need to just sit down and practice my instruments more. I have a lot of instruments I need to practice. I have an electric organ that I haven't played in a while, which is really fun. I have an accordion that I got from a friend that's really fun to play with. I got what's called a guqing, which is a Chinese zither instrument from my old band teacher. That thing's really fun. It's actually a pretty old instrument too. It's like from the 60s or something like that. So it doesn't really look like a modern guqing at all. It's only 16 strings. But that's really fun to play. I want to practice with that more. Play ukulele and guitar. Those are good ones. Those are really good ones to learn. I've thought about getting into guitar a little bit more as well. I would love to have one. Just to kind of like learn it on the side as well. My problem with guitar is, you know, the kind of music that I want to play. Like the songs that I would want to like learn on guitar. It's like, oh, you know, you have those kids who learn like Smoke on the Water or, you know, Iron Man, stuff like that. Those are great like starter songs, right? But I'm like over here, I'm just like, yeah, I want to learn Jethro Tull. I want to learn the really hard like Scottish folk rock stuff. It's like, that's a lot of work. Funny enough, though, that it was Jethro Tull that got me into playing flute. Because when I joined band, I was encouraged to join it to do like percussion, like bells or something like that, right? Because I had experience with piano. I'd been learning piano, and bells are kind of laid out like piano, so it's a familiar structure. But then we got into band, and it was like, okay, well, go ahead and just pick an instrument right now out of like the main like band instruments, right? Like, oh, do you want to learn trumpet? Do you want to learn clarinet or whatever? And I decided to pick up flute because that's what Ian Anderson played in Jethro Tull, and that's one of my favorite bands of all time. So I was like, yeah, I'll learn flute. They're everywhere, and you can learn basically anything. Yeah, no, definitely. Those are really good ones to learn, especially piano. In my opinion, if you're a composer, like you get into composition and stuff like that, and like writing music, you should learn a little piano. You don't have to be amazing at it, but it's just really good to learn a little piano. It's kind of like learning painting if you're into drawing, right? You don't have to be amazing, but it'll teach you such good things that it's worth putting in a little bit of effort to learn a bit of painting technique. Okay, I'd like to point out it's been like 30 minutes since I started doing these frames, and I've already gotten 5 of them done. Well, just about. This is gonna go so much faster. So much faster. I mean, for one thing, I'm all like warmed up and pumped up from working on the other part of the animation, so got that going for me as well. Make the accompaniment first, or try. Yeah. No, yeah, that's the thing about it, right? Have I thought about making a Discord server as a hangout spot? Technically speaking, I have a Discord server. I'm just kind of a little bit hesitant to open it up because, like, I just don't want to manage it, you know? It technically does exist, so maybe down the line, I don't know. It's just not something that I really want to like have to worry about right now. It's not terribly active, and I'm not really active on it either. I don't know. I've thought about it, but it hasn't seemed like something that I really wanted to like invest time into right now. Do I like light colors or dark colors? Kind of both. I mean, it's all about contrast, right? But I guess I would side on darker colors, but not necessarily for the reasons you might think. The reason I like darker colors is because I'm more of a traditionalist when it comes to composition and painting. And if you look at traditional technique and painting and composition and stuff like that, the way to think of digital painting versus traditional painting is how the light kind of is rendered. People have probably heard of like RGB versus CMYK, right? Stuff like that. Well, if you know how color mixing works in the two different color modes, then you know that CMYK or RGB mixes towards white. The more color data that you put in, the closer you get to white. So sitting like right here, this right here, maybe this, I don't think this is like perfect white, right? But if we, I mean, this is, maybe it is. But what's considered like perfect white is all the color like blended. Like 255, 255, 255 for RGB, right? 100% for all of them. And so what that does is within traditional or within digital painting, typically you're mixing towards white, so it naturally wants to become brighter. And it can actually be kind of annoying if it's a bad engine, because what it ultimately means is everything desaturates, right? As things get brighter, they desaturate naturally. So you have to go out of your way to make your artwork very saturated, right? Whereas in traditional painting, the way it works is more along the lines of how CMYK works, where you have your different color tones. You have cyan, magenta, yellow, and of course your ketone, black. And as you mix those together, they actually get darker. They get closer to black. And so what that means is that if you look at traditional painting, it's mixing towards darker, right? Everything, when you put paint on the page and you mix it together, it tends to mix towards a darker tone. And so you get with older paintings and whatnot, kind of a darker, richer kind of look. And so that's kind of why I tend to like darker colors, is because it gives more of that traditional sort of look. It's actually very difficult to get right digitally. It can be a little bit challenging. You can do very vibrant with traditional, right? But it's just kind of a natural inclination of the medium to lean towards a darker tone, or mix darker. Which is great for contrast. Like I said, it's all about contrast, right? When was I taught the difference between the traditional red, yellow, blue, and the more modern RGB CMYK? I actually am not familiar with red, yellow, blue, honestly. Because yeah, I know that red, yellow, blue is that's more old school painting, isn't it, or something like that. I'm not super familiar. I mostly just know RGB and CMYK. And mostly because, again, I'm not really a traditional artist. I'm a digital artist. And I try to work towards print quality, which means I try to be conscientious of CMYK. Which Clip Studio Paint is actually really good for, because they actually have what are called color profiles. And what color profiles do is they do two things. One, they give you an approximation. It's not perfect, but it's an approximation of what the image will look like printed, which is really good. But it also adjusts your color values to be more in line with what's print compatible. Which it's a little less, like back in the day, that used to be a really big deal. And so you had things like the K rule, where basically it was kind of a rule in comics where if you're a colorist, you don't use any ketone, or rather you try to limit your use of ketone as much as possible, because the idea was in print, in a specific, I think it wasn't web, it was sheet fed. I can't remember the print mode that it was typical in, but basically, if you went over 300% or 300 in value, right? So imagine, okay, so you have C, M, Y, and K, right? And let's imagine that there's a meter that goes from 0 to 100, right? And basically, depending on how much you fill up each of these meters, right, is what is going to give you the color that you want, right? Well, if this is 100, this is 100, this is 100, and this is 100, then you get 400, right? If you tried to print something with a value of 400, it's going to basically like clog the machine. It's not going to work right? Or something like that. It'll cause problems in the printing process. So they decided, okay, well, we can't do 400. The best we can do is 300. Every color that we do has to mix up to 300. So what's the easiest way to make sure that all your colors only ever hit 300 as their maximum color? Oh, easy. Take away one of the values, right? You need CMYK or CMY, right? Because that's your actual color mixing. But K is just the tone, right? It's just black. That just mixes in to help with a certain level, right? So you can actually like eliminate this, and now you never have to worry about going above 300. So that was what the K rule was. You technically could, right? Let's say everything was at 50, right? If everything was cut in half, and it was at 50, that only comes out to 200. So you would actually be okay. That would actually be A-okay. So that's kind of the old CMYK rule for print. So when she started addressing that there were multiple color wheels. Yeah. See, yeah, that was the funny thing. When I was younger, I remember learning about RYB even before I was an artist and all that kind of stuff. That was those were the primary colors I was aware of, right? And then I remember even thinking like the cones in our eyes were RYB, but they're RGB, I'm pretty sure. Actually, hold on, let me look that up. What colors do I see? Yeah, red, green, blue. Okay, yeah. So yeah, no, I originally thought that was what our eyes saw, but it's not. It's RGB. Do I have a studio? Goodness, I wish. I do, on occasion, do commissions and such like that, but I don't have a studio, no, unfortunately. I am my own studio. That's why I take forever to do literally everything. Gotta be the next Disney, trust me. Yeah, we'll see. By then, I hope the comic will be done at least. We'll see what happens after that. I do definitely want to do more stuff though. I want to produce more stuff just down the line. And who knows? You know, if people really dig it, and you know, I figure out a good way for people to support me, and they get something in return that they think is valuable enough to support, then hey, maybe something will come of it. An awful lot can happen in 5 years. Honestly, I'm just grateful that people have been showing up to stream. That's been really encouraging, actually. A lot of things seem fun. Sometimes things are like that, you know? Sometimes some years are like that. I would say that this year has been kind of a slow year in general for a lot of people, right? I mean, I had my fair share of things kind of occupying my time and energy. So you just kind of gotta be patient with yourself. Kind of figure out ways to like break out of a rut. You know, that's usually what it comes down to. I will say I am looking more forward to this fall, though. I'll be back on the comic. I might even get back on the comic later this month, but we'll see. Yeah, no, I know that feeling. Honestly, having a longer-term project helps. But you have to be a little bit careful with that. You have to get yourself into a really good, like, routine with that. And it depends on if you want to do that, honestly. But really, like, what it all comes down to is having a system, right? So, like, making your creativity not so random. Having a system of, like, okay, like, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm doing it, and then just executing, right? Getting into a really good routine that's sustainable. You know, you're not burning yourself out constantly. You're not, like, working something. That's what I've really found, because, like, you know, I'm not the best animator in the world, I'm not the best illustrator, there's just a lot of things that I wish I was stronger at, and I'm getting better, right? But what I kind of have going for me, it's kind of a blessing and a curse, but I would say it's more a blessing than anything, is a tenacity to keep going with something. You know, I've been working on this comic for going on 5 years now, right? Especially counting the short film. Count the short film, it has been 5 years. Even a little bit longer. And I don't want to stop. I want to keep going. The big reason I'm taking a break is because, you know, I'm still, you know, coming out of recovery mode, and I'm just kind of taking a little break, working on something animation to keep that habit alive, right? Before I dive back in and hopefully, you know, make kind of one last good sprint towards the end. So, come September, I'm going to be, no matter what, I'm going to be back on the comic. Whether this is finished or not. I would like to get this done so it's not like hanging over me, because that's been a big part of what's been kind of taking my time, as well as, you know, I've been animating and then working on the comic and then animating and working on the comic. So I figured I might as well get this out of the way. That way it's, you know, done. It'll be done sooner than the comic will, right? And that way I can really like focus on the project. I was talking like I was dying. Well, that's part of my motivation. I mean, that's, truth be told, I've said it before, but I think one of the best things that ever happened to me as an artist was getting real close to my deathbed. As morbid as that is, kind of puts into perspective things. Teaches you to really kind of commit your time more carefully, I guess, or more specifically. To be clear, I'm okay now. I'm in good health now. I'm actually gonna like have him like dart his eyes around and move his eyebrows up a touch and down a touch, just to kind of like push this a little bit into the subtle and even beyond, honestly. See that, and that's kind of the benefit of working straight ahead, is you can be a little bit improvisational like that. Easier to be improvisational when you're working straight ahead. Not keying everything, every little thing out. Oh yeah, no, for sure. Sorry to hear that, by the way. No, but it definitely puts it into perspective and gives you an experience that, you know, is hard, but ultimately very valuable. I think all experience is important, but yeah. Definitely part of it. Hold on. Barely move you down and then move you up a touch. Hold on. Crazy eye bags. He has really bad eye bags because he's nocturnal. But you know, his friends aren't. So he's always really sleepy. And that's kind of one of the reasons he's always grumpy. Because he never gets good sleep. Do the eyes on a separate layer here. Give my man 5-hour energy, Bronto. Oh, I don't think you'd want to give him 5-hour energy. He'd be bouncing off the walls and like tucking himself into the corners of every like, small crawlway in the house. You wouldn't find him for a week. Interesting. All right, now, actually, I'm gonna erase his eyes. That way I can have a little bit more control over them. That works. Just working on the eyes there, Jordan. We're almost done with the first little movement here, which took us about an hour. Isn't bad, because it was about 5 frames. Part of me wants to kind of smear this. We'll see how that looks. Man. Gotta get some rest there, Demon. Get yourself some rest for sure. Have a good one. Take care. Hope to see you back. Ah, dang it, it did it again. Understand why. There we go. I'm actually gonna have the eyebrow lower down a little more. And then one more time. This one is going to be really subtle. Oh, not quite. All right, let me go ahead and grab some water here real quick. I'll just leave this playing in the meantime. I'll be right back. Let's keep going. Who is this? Amateur LSDJ Resilience. I'll write this down. I forgot to do the chest. Alright, well. Hopefully this won't be too much effort. Of course, I had to copy and paste frames, so now I'm gonna redraw this. Although, you know what? Let's try something. There. So it is possible to do. It's just really annoying. Because I have to be able to take it out of the layer or the folder and put it back in. It is technically doable. There we go. Do I like books? I do indeed like books. I've been getting back into reading for the last few years, and it's been very nice. Hey, what's up, dope and stuff? Good to see you back. Have I heard of Wings of Fire? I feel like I have. I'm afraid I'm not so familiar with it that I can immediately place the name, but does sound very familiar. For the graphic novels. So is it just graphic novels, or is it like a book series that was adapted into graphic novels? Chapter book 2 in a series 2? Sounds quite expansive. I just realized I also need to kind of clean the box up a little bit. That's alright, I can do that later. What's it about then? If you've piqued my interest. Dragons, that stands to reason. A little higher. Let me see. Yeah, about there. It's more or less how I designed the hood. Do I like pizza? Yes, I do. Which is very cool. Also, apologies for going so silent. I'm just really concentrating. Don't be afraid to speak up now. Moon of Animations. Facts of Dad. Welcome. Booty stream. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's try this. You got a new nickname today. How dare I go silent? I cannot help it. Truth be told, I shouldn't even be listening to music. Actually, it's kind of a thing with animation, like, that's encouraged, just working in silence. Father information. That's actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Box. Yeah, I'd agree with that. They're dead fast. Yeah, that works. It's simple, but it works. I think it again. I understand why it does that. Oh hey, definitely. I actually know the artist behind this song. actually. A little bit more this way. Now we're going to see how this turns out. He's kind of looking... He's looking more and more like a Muppet as I draw him. Do I like being an animator? My life is agony. No, I'm just kidding. No, animation's fun. Honestly, I wish I could say I'm more of an animator. I would love to work on more, professional gigs and stuff like that at some point, but just not really had the opportunity, unfortunately. Hopefully one day. Actually, I'm really not sure if this is gonna work the way I'd hope. I certainly don't regret learning the artistry of animation, but it's definitely tough to make it, you know, what you do, right? There's a lot of sacrifice involved. How did I get into animation? I technically started with, when I was really young, with stop motion animation. It wasn't necessarily like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna, you know, do this all the time kind of thing, you know, but it was fun to play around with when I was younger. And then as I got older, I actually got into writing first. Like books and stuff like that. That's really what I wanted to do. But then as time went on, I got more involved with drawing and whatnot, and I decided, you know, why not try animating? It was something that I'd had fun with before, and there were YouTubers and such that like were animators, right? Like, not even necessarily like what they did all the time anymore or anything like that, but it was just like, oh, yeah, you can just sit down and animate, right? You can load up a program and just like go for it, right? So I was like, well, why not? Why not give that a shot? And I really fell in love with it. I really started kind of like thinking about animation and really kind of discovered just a love for doing it. And then I was encouraged while I was in high school to make a short film for this upcoming festival, very local, kind of just in the school, and I put a ton of effort into it, making it, and then I wound up actually winning the sort of like grand prize thing, which was like a scholarship and a few other things, and it just was like, wow, that was kind of amazing. That was awesome. And so I've been kind of fascinated with that ever since. Wanted to make something of it ever since. I don't think this head's gonna be what I need it to be for this shot, but we'll see. We'll see if I can get away with this. Maybe if I make a few changes here and there. Looks very goofy. Also, I think his eyes down. Oh, that's the wrong frame. And I'm just using this to keep the proportions. I will say, it is very nice animating a character with a round head. So no matter what angle they're looking, it's always the same. Just big circle. Uh, something like that for the eyebrow. Maybe not that much. That works. Like this. Actually, how do I render him from behind? Yeah, I do have his eyebrows kind of sticking out. I wonder if I should give his eyebrows like more like depth. 3D. Yeah. Yeah, that actually works pretty well. I like that. Let me... I see I can't. Alright. Let's play the whole thing again, because why not? Yeah. All right. All right, we've got still a little bit more time to get a few more frames done. We were actually most of the way through, I think. We're about halfway. In about 3 hours. It's not bad. That's more doable. That is more like what I'm hoping for, is being able to just crank out some good motion in just a handful of hours. Granted, it's exceptionally simple motion, but that's the key. So generally, I should be able to speed up my process at least a little bit. Actually, I think, yeah, I can just do 17. I can go over this. This up. Of course. Now you do need to do the ears as well. The ears should be hopefully relatively quickly because they're just kind of floppy, very physics driven. Dang it, hold on. Check the motion. I don't want this here. I want to be more over here. Something like that. Oh, dang it. Got to reset the hair. That's alright. Hey, what's up, Guilty? Good to see you again. It's going pretty good. I've been streaming for a little over 3.5 hours. So getting lots done, which is nice. I probably, unfortunately, will have to stop here relatively soon, next 30 minutes or so, just to keep from sitting for too long. So trying to be kind of conscientious about that. When will I be live again? I will be live again on Thursday. Probably a little later, probably more closer to this time, because I'll be working on Thursday. But yeah, otherwise I'll be live again on Saturday, or on Monday rather, next Monday. Probably gonna try to do the same time. Want to see if I can get into that routine, maybe even a little earlier. I don't know, depends. Ideally, I want to stream pretty much the whole day on Monday. So a solid 6 to 8 hour streams. Otherwise, have yourself a good night there, Jordan. Appreciate you staying around for so long. Have a good one. I want them to have more of a neutral phase. Actually gonna do one more frame out here. And we'll barely move it. Also less than that even. The whole reason is so I can get rid of the eyes here. Here. Put new frame. Alright. Time is it? 3:49? I think I might call it here. This is a good stopping point. Just kind of double check everything. Hold on. Let me zoom it out a little. I do like that. Alright. Trying to think if there's anything I really want to like touch up on this. But honestly, I'm really happy with how that's coming out. Very simple motion, so it's very quick, which is nice. Nice change of pace. Because yeah, in about 4 hours of time, we animated the arms in the rough phase, and we got all of these frames done in the cleanup phase. And this, of course, this one disappears, which is annoying. I have a blink there, actually. Wicker, Grem, long guts. All coming together. Yes. We cannot forget. Where is he? Yes. Long guts. I still need an enemy. We'll do that. Maybe we'll do that next time. Because literally it'll just be 2 frames of him like bouncing up and down. But yeah. Shout out to Long Guts. Alright. Have yourselves a good night. I will be back on Thursday to stream. It won't be as long as this, probably. But maybe it'll be like a 3-hour stream. I don't know. We'll see. Depends. But yeah, no, thank you guys so much for stopping by. This was a really fun stream. Really do appreciate everyone who's been stopping by us of late. It's been really encouraging. So great to have it. Great to see it. Love to see it. Yeah, I'm gonna get going, but you guys have yourselves a good night. Take care and